everybody! We're back with another one of these live streams. You guys begged for it after how good last week is, so of course we had to come back with another one of these. So, of course, I can't do this without my hetero life mate, best friend, and co-host, Scott Rogers here!
Oh, God. I'm so sticky. Like, why do I look like this?
All right, Scott.
Today?
Yeah, we're doing all right. First one was good. Let's do an even better second one.
Yes, try.
Having attention put on himself, though, scared Brian away. So Brian's not here, but there's one man that we call upon whenever Brian is unavailable. So I present Kyle!
If you wanted a better second episode, you shouldn't have asked me.
I love the fact that we're like, hey, Kyle, guess what? You're our silver medal for Brian. Like,
you know what? Carly said the same thing to me. And no, I don't know why Carly's because my wife's upstairs. She's my scapegoat for just everything right now.
Dude, that's horrible.
She's the butt of all the jokes. I'm the butt of her jokes, and Brian wins in all of it.
And
so, thank you guys for having me. I'm so stoked to be here. This is the best.
Of course. And Kyle also helped direct our little test pilot.
Oh my God, yes!
But
yes.
There were two other people that really helped make that test pilot possible. And they also happen to be the hosts of the first podcast that Scott and I ever befriended when we launched Horror Movie Night. The Jersey Ghouls are here!
Oh my God.
Finger guns, hell yeah.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm on a game show and I'm going to win something.
I know.
You are. He prepped us incorrectly. This is a game show. You guys.
I think that the only thing that we win is embarrassment. So hope you're ready.
Good.
Bring it on.
But you know what? Some of the crowd loves what's happening in here because it is. Yeah, it's a dope-ass shirt. Thank you, Derek. Creepy Co. Although Tom, as I posted earlier, thinks I look like David Pumpkins. I'm fine with that.
Accurate.
I'll take it. So let's talk about the one big thing that we all collaborated on beyond just being the Abeats Creeps or the Pod Slashers or whatever the nicknames are that we've thrown ourselves. Without the three people, well, and Scott, obviously, but I'm not including him as people that volunteered to help out.
People. I'm not people.
Nope. Without the three people that are on the show, the Horror Movie Night pilot could have never happened. Marissa and her husband graciously let us shoot almost all of our talking head segments in there. Kyle came out and directed all of the skits, and Jacki sacrificed her eardrums for something that didn't even make the final cut. So
yeah. No,
have you been able to taste the Swedish fish? Or look at one?
I think I had a Swedish fish like a couple months later, and it was traumatic. There's some PTSD with Swedish fish, so we can't go. I can't right now.
So the wizard behind the curtain is, I mean, and if you need to just mute us for a second, I need to tell the story. So we're doing the intro scene at Viva Video, and Kyle is the harbinger who's telling his story. And as he's telling the story, I'm smashing. Literally, I had like one of those family on my drive.
It was like 200 gold or Swedish fish.
Yeah, it was like it was a big ass bag that I found at a gas station or a service plaza on my way from Ohio to Philly, and I'm just smashing them in my face. I know I'm not actually going to eat them, and so I'm just like, it'll be funnier if there are more in my mouth, and so like I literally get like 50 of them in my mouth, and I'm just Poor Jacki has a boom mic right over my head, and I'm like, Mom, and like it's dripping down my face, like I have this spit everywhere, and I'm just like waiting, and this is my face as Kyle's telling the story, and I go, "The one up."
Well, no, and your line was because the scene was that Kyle said that we couldn't rent the VHS copy of Demon Wind.
Still can't.
And you go, but we have to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
Snowing out of your face.
We had to get that line.
Is that somewhere? Like, even though it's not in the.
I'm sure Brian, if he kept any of the footage, still has it. But yeah,
I
it is.
probably didn't keep it. 'Cause
I
Brian-
watched it so many times with him, and I was like, "This is the grossest shit we've ever filmed."
Yes.
And that's considering that you, Matt, threw up a lot of weird oatmeal.
Yeah.
Different
Your
sketch.
oatmeal
So
throw
considering,
was so gross too, because it wasn't like fake. It was just you basically
Yeah.
like baby birding it out. It was like,
Oh, dude, if you weren't there
That
for us
makes-
recording it, I literally had a bowl of instant oatmeal, and we would do the countdown. Like, all right, we're going to go live in 3, and I'd scoop a bunch of it into my mouth, and then hide behind the camera until I couldn't breathe,
gross.
basically,
Ugh.
and just go.
You're so method, Matt.
I expected it to projectile out a lot more than it did.
come here.
But
Come here,
let's
come here.
let's talk. Let's.
Hey,
Oh.
look who I found.
Hey!
I have a wife.
She's
Oh, I didn't notice.
Hear anything, so.
No,
No,
yeah.
it's okay. She said she can't hear anything, which is fine.
Just let her
It's
know we
better
started
that
watching Mad Men. That's the only important thing.
Oh, Matt.
I like
so-
Matt's shirt.
Matt, she likes your shirt. And they can hear you. So he's happy, but he also wanted me to tell you that he started watching Mad Men finally. But he only did it because Mad Men is getting taken off of Netflix in a week, 2 weeks.
No.
It doesn't matter. You own the whole
Yeah,
series.
June 10th it comes off.
June 10th.
So
June 10th.
Tom's
it comes
starting
up.
some
It's like
shit
my
with
bad.
you, Scott. I'm not sure if you're seeing his comments, but
Wow, Scott has a wife who knew. Tom Pandage fucking knew I had a wife. We're friends on Facebook.
let's. So I want to give everybody.
She
Oh,
exists.
like,
Oh, it's not like he mentions her every goddamn second. She thinks it's funny. Well, I mean, literally, it's
You're
the
not wrong.
only time I've been smooth. So I
I'm
have
sorry.
to talk about it.
Oh, is that like as in you're talking about her makes you smooth, or
No, the first time I kissed her was the only time I was ever smooth. Finn, hi, buddy. I don't want the dog.
Oh,
He
wow.
can't see anything. Finn. The old man yells at God. Who said that? Who's fucking said that? Okay, Finn doesn't want to be on the show, so he's not going to be on the show.
all
Okay,
right.
buddy.
So
Get the fuck out.
let's do. I like to try to
Oh,
make sure
hi.
everyone's getting some equal talking time. Don't want to
God.
be rude. Oh God, we may have lost Kyle. Not
Oh,
sure what
God.
happened there.
Okay. I don't know what happened either. I'll work on this.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute you for a little bit, but let's talk to Jacki. Yeah, we'll talk to Jacki for a little bit. Jacki,
Sure. Hey, what's
Hey.
up?
Jacki?
tell us about Jersey Ghouls.
It's true.
It is true. It's very true. So
Are we going to talk about boobs on the episode? Or
I would assume so. I thought
I
that's
mean,
why you brought me on.
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
female slashers. It's going to come up.
I could only assume when I'm involved, it's because there's going to be a boob conversation. So yeah, Jersey Ghouls, the brainchild of Marissa, who, her and I have been, friends since college. And when she thought I need to make a horror movie podcast, she called me, and we talk all sorts of things, horror movies and culture and independent film and art and comics and all of that stuff. But we like to put a little bit of the feminist spin on it. We say that we are the fangirl feminist podcast.
All right. I would agree with that. And how many episodes? You've gotten over 100 by now, right?
Yeah, we release episodes every other Sunday, and this past Sunday we just released episode 106.
Yeah.
That's my
And-
favorite.
and-
That's my favorite number. I don't know. Incredible. What timing?
Yeah, it's all downhill after 106.
yeah. I don't even know what our 106th was, but I'm sure that we're.
It was the beginning of the end for sure.
Yeah. But so, in case anybody doesn't know, I don't think I've actually told the ladies, but fuck you both for getting to interview so many wonderful people on your show. It's not fair. You're better at interviewing than we are because I just overtalk everybody. And I will do tonight.
I will say I got to shout out Josh and Joe from Fight School because they just talked about triangle boobs, one of Jackie's favorite things in the world. So
Wait, where are the triangle boobs from? Are they
80s, like you know how like every 80s slasher film, I'm like doing a visual for your audience,
Yeah, they do
has
that.
little shady triangle over the boob when they, you know.
Because string
Why am
bikinis
I
were all the
explaining
rage.
Oh, bikini.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's the tan
Josh,
line.
I blame you.
It's the tan line.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I thought you were talking boob. I thought you were talking boob shape.
And you know,
because I
everybody
always
does.
felt-
That is the mistake. It's a common
Yeah,
mistake that
common
everyone makes.
misconception.
Common
Okay,
misconception.
thank you.
Yeah, no, it's all about the tan line over the boob. That's like the classic 80s, like early 80s topless with
That's
that
right.
tan line. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it so
Understood.
much.
Yeah.
And then you also got to have the butt that's like the copper tone girl.
Yes.
Mhm.
Literally
Yeah.
Oh,
every every
Good.
woman just like the perfect
Now,
scoop.
The scoop.
I do want to get to Marissa telling us a little bit about Dark Hills events as well. But first, I do want to acknowledge Scott. Tom is coming at you again.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
said, you sound super smooth with that story about vomiting up Swedish fish.
Hey,
That was their second kiss. All these years later.
she wasn't there for it. That's why we're still married.
But now that that's out of the way, Marissa, tell us a little bit about Dark Hills events. Because, again, I mean, the origin story of our whole group is basically we just keep meeting at each other at conventions, and then the group just keeps growing. And that's how Joe came into the fold as well, basically, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, so Dark Hills Events, check us out, darkhillsevents.com or Dark Hills Events on any social media. We basically create immersive horror experiences. And Jacki and I actually went to one as guests invited by the founder of the company, Joe. And we ran around in the woods, like running from Jason, and we were hooked, and I was hooked. And I'm so fortunate that they brought me in to help them write events and kind of produce some of the content. Right now, it's a bummer because of quarantine, we've had to cancel all of our spring and summer shows. We had a Texas Chainsaw event that we had planned. We had a Night of the Living Dead event. We had at the actual camp where they filmed Jason Lives, we were going to have an experience with Tom Matthews there. It was going to be unbelievably cool. Unfortunately, all of this got shit on. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
You
fine.
can say shit.
Okay.
You can
Okay.
say fuck. You can say piss. You can say whatever you
Oh, good.
want.
And we lost all of our events for that. So we're actually planning an immersive horror experience online that's starting very soon. And we're really excited to kind of do something fun while we're all in quarantine. And hopefully in the fall, we'll be back.
Well, here's hoping. I want to start going to some of those events.
Yes,
I'm a
please.
bit of a pussy when it comes to anything immersive. But I feel like everything. Well, I've met Joey. He's a sweet, just cuddly bear of a man. So I know
Exactly.
that,
Yeah.
so like he can't hurt me.
Well, I will say you'd be surprised how a sweet, cuddly teddy bear of a human being can suddenly become super scary when you're in the woods alone and he's dressed in full-on Jason regalia. Like,
Yeah. And he's fast. He doesn't look like he would be fast.
deceptively.
He's fast. Yeah.
All right, and then of course Kyle. As we've said before,
Yeah, you.
Survival of the Film
You.
Freaks, an incredible movie.
Thank you.
But also horror finds. We need to talk about horror finds.
It's been going great.
So
Explain what Horror Finds is to people because
Well,
they might
so
not know.
Horror Finds has taken a little bit. It's not a hiatus per se, but Horror Finds was an Etsy store I started when I was living out in California. Because I didn't have a lot of space to collect things, but I still liked the thrill of the hunt for a lot of like VHS tapes and novelizations and like cool horror related things, right? And I always felt guilty leaving them at the thrift store because like I couldn't have them, but I was like, well, there's plenty of other people who would be interested in them. So basically Horror Finds is just me finding those treasures and putting them back online. This sounds so like salesperson-y, but like for an acceptable price.
Your prices are super, super low, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's
honestly,
not bad.
I just want them to go to like a home that like people are gonna dig on them, because I think that they're cool, that they exist. It's a lot of times it's like I don't know what I'm looking for until I find it. So then like I mean, there's plenty of shit that like doesn't sell in the shop. Like I had a Shaggy Dog like young adult novelization, though Matt Kelly might like this now.
100%. Yeah. If you still got that.
I'll send it
Or
to
the
you.
Or the sequel Shaggy DA novelization. I'll take that too.
Oh, I already sold Shaggy DA, but I got Shaggy Dog. Don't worry. But I mean, it was just like, it's just fun for me. So it's like a thrill of the hunt sort of situation. So now I've been itching, just as anybody else who thrifts or does anything socially. Has been itching. Has been,
Podcasters, no.
has been itching to do. So my inventory has not totally been like restocked, but I'm posting stuff. If I get through stuff that I know I don't want to keep or whatever, I'll put it up there. And that's just an Etsy store called Horror Finds. That's as all of my film stuff has sort of like slowed down. I do have that going on. So yeah, that's what we got going on right now.
But the other big thing, Kyle, is you are very active on Instagram, and you posted something yesterday, and I messaged you and said, I know it's not horror based, but I need you to read this. I'm not sure if any of the other people on this chat saw Kyle's childhood music essay that he wrote.
Yeah.
But this shit is amazing.
So I have to give a shout out to my wife that I have one too, Scott. Her name's Carly, and one of her favorite things to do is to fucking make fun of me for everything that I've ever done in a past life in my childhood. So that goes from like reading my live journal out loud to my friends in college who she had just met, to what we did the other night, going through a pile of my school stuff that my mom had saved. Let it be known that my mom saved everything. So it's a lot of like newsletters that don't matter and like math papers that don't matter. But one of the things that did come out of this was my yearbook. So this is 5th grade. It starts out with the Pledge of Allegiance, which is a choice. And then so the second page is just like the letter from the principal that like this is, whatever, the same. It's got to be the same template every year. Right? Like, yeah. Not to mention, but we were also the last 5th grade class to be at that elementary school because then they moved. Look, I'm part of history. So thank you for giving me this platform to read to you music through the ages. See that fucking word art?
Oh, word art for the win.
God.
I'm gonna try to read it straight. There's a lot of things I want to comment on, but I'm just gonna let the words just do it. Okay. 100 out of 245 people do not like music.
Did you do that study yourself? What was that? Did you hard research?
My works cited isn't included in my yearbook.
Are there footnotes?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a source check on that.
Not in this 1-page essay. I'll tell you that much. 100 out of 245 people do not like music. Do you like music? The odds of a person not liking music are 500 in 1 million. The timeline of music has changed a lot. A lot is bolded and capitalized.
Obviously.
It's important to emphasize.
This is I used a really interesting quote here. Like Elmo from Sesame Street sang, "What makes music? Anything makes music." End quote.
Wow.
Another hard fact here: the first kind of music was European orchestra.
Let's not fact check it. Let's just
No.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
It's gotta be true.
Was this actually a school, or was this?
No,
You weren't homeschooled or anything?
It was a one-room
this
shack.
is Nyack Center School, part of the East Lyme Public School System. I was there. Many other kids were there. Nobody wrote this except me. Okay. The first kind of music was European orchestra. This was violin music. Okay. Just a fragment of a sentence. That's also incorrect. European orchestra turned into American band music.
Yeah, it just went from 0
Just A to B. No.
Yeah, just quick.
American band music. This featured the percussion and woodwind instruments Percussion instruments are any instruments that you hit. Woodwind instruments are any instruments that you blow into.
So technical. It's so technical.
You can't just imagine these things. You have to know their functionality.
Sure.
For example, clarinets, flutes, and oboe. That kind of music is still used. That kind of music is still used. Period. In school concerts, parades, or for fun. Period.
I just real quick. There was a teacher.
Please. That's the end of a paragraph. So that's perfect timing.
There was a teacher whose job it was to edit that, and they got paid money to be like, dude, perfect.
That's Mr. Bitgood.
Oh, we're calling him out. Okay.
Yeah. I don't care. He's fine. He's a great teacher. Next paragraph, all bold. The saga continues in the timeline of all caps music. I'll kind of reveal a little bit there.
Oh my God, we're only that far?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm working on it. Next came ragged music. Ragged. R-A-G-G-E-D. Ragged music. I really do not know a lot about ragged music, so I can't tell you about it.
Not even the proper name of the genre.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I didn't do any research, so moving on.
Ragged. Ragged music. After ragged music that I don't know anything about. After ragged music came jazz. Capital J, jazz. This came from New Orleans, Louisiana. Period. This features the brass instruments. Period. Brass instruments are instruments you blow into. Okay, so now we have a conflict with woodwind instruments. And that are obviously made out of brass. Obviously. Don't be an idiot. This includes trumpets, trombones, and tubas, period. Here's a riddle for you.
Oh, change it up.
It says everything.
Here's a riddle for you. What is the same kind of music as jazz, but is slower? ? It's anybody know? Hold on. Anybody know so far?
Is it European orchestral?
Do we go back to the start? It's just a never-ending loop of the same music. No. Its name is the same as a color. That's the next line. Its name is the same as.
Oh, you're giving us a hint.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is still another. Yeah, I'm sorry. I when I talk to you directly, sometimes it's difficult. I'm sorry. Its name is the same as a color. What am I?
I'm going with the blues.
Oh, you guessed it right. It's blues. That's the next. Don't worry. That's not me telling you.
Literally slower jazz. That's
the blues. Okay.
You guessed it right. That's the blues. This music had the same kind of instruments as jazz. Period. Like I said, it's slower music. Period.
There's so much sass in this. What the fuck?
Wait until you get the last line. Is
okay? Let's let him finish.
Okay. I'll just go because this is people sing this kind when they are sad. Period. End of paragraph. Next paragraph. One word. Yeah. Yeah. She's the next paragraph. All of it. It was Celine Dion. One word. Rock. Was just one sentence. That started the next paragraph. But can you guess what kind of music this is? Was the next line. Well, do you have an answer yet? ? It's obvious! ! Rock and roll, period. I'm sorry I'm telling you the punctuation, but it's essential for the reading of this. Drums, guitars, it's really the instruments you see now. Famous rock bands, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, and the Beatles, period. Then came pop, the dreaded boy bands, with their bubblegum, innocent, quote, I'm a little kid, end quote, look. This is brutal. Famous pop bands, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and NSYNC. I did use the asterisk and all caps.
And
and NSYNC. Don't you forget it. We never would have thought turntables do anything but play music, period. This is all the same paragraph. I would have told you. Rap and hip hop took over music, period. I am not going to talk about this any further, period.
Whoa! You're like, not talking about rap. We're going to glaze over that. It's a bold choice, white kid in the burbs.
I'm surprised you weren't enamored with rap at that point.
Yeah.
It's time to bring this one back
It
up.
only took me the next year to buy the Eminem show, and then my cousin bought it edited, so we traded just to see how it sounded different. So don't worry. But then also the year prior, I did a biography presentation dressed as Justin Timberlake. So my interests just doesn't matter. Okay. Last line of this incredible essay. Thank you guys so much for letting me share this with you. From orchestra to rock, period. From pop to hip hop, period. Music is big, all caps, big, period. And that is that's music through the ages.
Yeah.
Thank
Good job.
you all. Thank you.
Good job.
I'm clapping for myself for making it through.
You made it.
Dark Hills Gaming. Found yourself a new thing to make it through.
Kyle, we did get a question before you dove into that, though, that I actually do want to know the answer to. What is the most bootleg piece of merch that you found so far?
That essay, right?
Oh, bootlegged peach of merch. Okay.
Peach of merch.
Piece of merch. So I didn't find anything bootlegged really, because most of what I sell is books. So luckily there's not like too much in the market for that. I will say
bootlegging books.
Yeah, could you imagine being like, oh God, I'm gonna make
for this book. I'm gonna make my own copy.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I think I'm sorry, my horror finds thing is it's like right behind me. I haven't found anything bootlegged, but I've had plenty of incidences where I came across a VHS tape that wasn't the right tape in the sleeve, but I still got excited and bought it before I looked. This happens to everybody, but it most often happens to me. So I had a few of those. More recently, I bought a wrestling tape that was that incident. It says it's the WWF's funniest moments, and it's the best WrestleMania matches of 2000s. And it's like, I can't even pretend.
How dare
That's a disappointment.
I can't even pretend.
What % of those are porn, Kyle? Like home porn?
Well, my collection's 100%.
No, I mean like the
horror finds.
Yeah, like when you find a video that's not the video it's supposed to be, and you pop it into VCR. Yeah.
Honestly, I have yet to come across that, but I'm praying. I'm waiting for that day.
So, I mean, on the topic of bootlegs, we're all people who attend conventions.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to ask, what's like the weirdest bootleg that you have, if you have any? Because like we won't include like, respect to VHS PS. We love them. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't consider those like true bootlegs, but do you have anything where you literally just bought like we've seen those guys at Monster Mania where you're like, that is not an official release of anything that you just put out.
I bought a really unfortunate box set of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And this is more of like, it's not it is a quality thing. It's horrible. Which, I mean, there's no remaster of Are You Afraid of the Dark? So whatever. But like this was shot on a potato somehow. But the organization of the whole series was really, it wasn't organized. I don't understand how any of it made sense. It was like, it's not even that the disc, it was just like any episode was just on any disc of 4 discs. And that was that, which is like, honestly, of all things, if that's the worst thing I come out of with a bootleg disc, then that's fine. But it was unfortunate to me.
Anybody else?
I only buy officially licensed merchandise.
Oh, look at that. I mean, I have the Star Wars Holiday Special on bootleg. I get to bust that out once a year. So
yeah, it's fucking mandatory fun at Matt Kelly's house at Christmas time. So of course it's like.
Actually, years ago, I bought Salute Your Shorts bootleg off of eBay. And it's like a copy of a copy of a copy that somebody obviously taped off of Nickelodeon. But it was like $5 on eBay in like 2001.
You had to. You didn't have a choice for that matter. Yeah.
I don't know who Thomas is, but I feel like he and I need to be best friends because every comment he has a point. So, Thomas.
Well, actually, I guess I do have a bootleg that is very near and dear to a part of my body. So the first porn
how big is the hole in the disc? Sorry.
It's the first porn I ever saw. And I'm pretty sure that you've all heard this story in person.
Oh, this story? Oh, no.
Yeah, it was. This was cut from. I was drunk. This was the only time I've ever been drunk when we recorded. It was a fucking mistake. It was at Monster Mania last spring, so spring of 2019. I was feeding drinks to Kyle. Kyle fell asleep.
I fell asleep, yeah. I don't remember it.
He fell asleep like this on the bed. It was so cute. But yeah, so
I almost did it now.
Yeah, but I don't know whatever happened to this audio, but I was telling about this porn, the first porn that I ever had. Alan H. I won't Brian Kelly this and use last names, but Alan H. Was a friend of ours in our friends group, and his stepdad had a little porn stash, and they were obviously VHS because this would have been 1995, I want to say, and this porn was probably from like 88. It wasn't like fresh new porn.
Great year.
And so Alan snagged it, and we each got to take it home for a night. Our friends group each got to have for a night. And so the first porn I ever watched was called Bring Up Rat. And my buddy Eric W., again, will not use last names, for my 30th birthday, I think it was, somehow found a VHS rip of Bringing Up Rat. And it's not a good porn. I just want you to know. It's like the quintessential shitty 80s porn. And he put it on a DVD, made title cards, and broke it into chapters. And he put it on a DVD and didn't say what it was. It had a bunch of question marks, like the Riddler had sent me fucking smut, and it said, "Put me in your DVD player." And I did, and yeah. So that's the only bootleg that I actually own, and it's. Hey Tom, I know your address, dude. I can send it to you.
So I feel like talking about porn is the perfect way to slide into talking about our main topic of female slashers.
There's
that Marissa disappointment.
Wah, wah.
So Marissa, let's start with you.
All right.
What is so? We'll say of all we'd all identify as feminists, but
Sure.
I would say that four of us talk about boobs a lot more than the other. So I would say you're slightly better feminist than the rest of us.
I talk about breasts.
Let's talk about breasts, baby. But let's start with you. What are some of the things that you look for in like a good female slasher? Or I mean, we can expand this because unfortunately there's still so few. We can also talk about scream queens here. But like, what are the things that you look for in a good slasher and a good scream queen?
So I kind of took it as like a female villain, if that's fair, in
That
horror. And I have two categories that I broke it into: the get it, girl, you have every right to fuck shit up, and the oh man, you're just evil and shitty. Like there's two. So in my head, there's the women who I secretly cheer for because like they had messed up stuff. Like I give you an example, Samara from The Ring. I'm like, good for you, girl. Whereas like, I'm trying to think like, okay, my perfect example of a great one, Lola from The Loved Ones. She's just a bitch. Like there's no
awful.
right. She's terrible. There's no like justifying her behavior. So to me, there's two tiers here. There's you have every right to be a total see you next Tuesday versus you're just a see you next Tuesday. So I'm curious to see. The Boys Love Mandy Lane. Yes, that's
that movie is not as good as I wanted it to be.
Which one?
All the Boys Love Mandy Lane.
Yeah.
You know, I like the concept better than the actual execution. I don't know if it was
Me
the
too.
story or what. Yeah, Urban Legend, Jim. Urban Legend is on my. I think it might happen in November for horror movie night. I'm not positive. It was going to be September, but that's listener submitted month. I'm not going to waste October on Urban Legend. It's not good enough for October.
Aw,
No, I like Urban Legend, but Urban Legend is not good enough for October. October is literally the creme de la creme of HMN. But anyway, so here's a question for you, Riss. Where would you put Jennifer from Jennifer's Body? Would she be?
I'm just laughing at Shane's comment about Mother Goose. God, I'm sorry.
So Jennifer from Jennifer's Body. Would you say that she's worth cheering for or not? She's a real gray area in my opinion.
Yeah, she toggles that line. Jackie, what do you think?
See, I don't buy into the justified killer thing. So, but if you want to, that's fine. I don't buy into the justified thing because I just always like the villain. So for me, whether it's justified or not, male or female, I'm usually for the villain. So I don't break it into camps like you do.
Wow, I hope that I'm never in a horror movie with Jackie because she's literally just going to be like, hey, murderer, come here, have some fun with these fuckers.
He's over there.
You're going to be the final girl strictly because you're going to be on his
Survivor
side.
girl, right?
I
You were
know.
the Survivor girl at Dark
Dark
Hills.
Hills.
That's true. Yep.
And maybe for that very reason. God.
I mean, someone put it up here already, so I'll address it, and then obviously Jackie.
Hey, we gotta be unbiased though, man. Don't bias our poll.
I mean, obviously,
you motherfucker, it's true.
Obviously, Angela from the Sleepaway Camp movies, like for sure, they're the best one. Like absolutely.
Oh,
and I know that Jackie's got my back, so let's talk. Let's hash this out. Sleepaway Camp 2.
Are you guys saying best ever?
I think that Angela in Sleepaway Camp 2 is one of top 3 female slashers in my opinion.
Yeah.
Matt has 2. That's
okay. Oh, well, now I have to wonder what your criteria is. Is it based on the film or is it based on the slasher?
Whatever you want, man.
No. But you saying that she's in the top 3. Like, what's your criteria?
My criteria?
Yeah.
Yes, Tom, Mary Lou from Prom Night 2 is one of my top 5, or she might be top 3 because she's a total horrible badass person, but like she is awesome. But yeah, so for me, like a good slasher, female slasher would be, I mean, and I guess it could be a villain, but I was kind of aiming more towards when I kind of did my mental list this week. I was looking more at, is the movie entertaining and do I root for the killer? And so May is huge. Angela's huge. And I would actually say Mary Lou is awesome too, but Mary Lou,
you're not really you're cheering for Mary Lou more in the way you cheer for like a Freddy Krueger than like
or the driller killer in Sleepaway Camp or Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Like with May and Angela, I keep almost wanting to say Angelica. I'm thinking about Rugrats. With Angela, like you do feel like especially in the first Sleepaway Camp, you feel a sympathy for Angela because of like everything that happened to her to lead to that point.
But 2 and 3, she's more fun.
I think
she's
so
bubbly.
That's why I love
she's
3.
So bubbly.
Yeah.
I think that plays into what Marissa was saying too. It's like categorizing like those, because not only are those different types of characters, but I feel like those are different types of like movies, you know? So it's like, it's just the same way that like homegirl from Loved Ones, who I forget her name. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Lola.
Lola from Loved Ones. I like, that's a trope that goes even way further back to like a movie called like Whatever Happened to Alice, which is just like a woman is, batshit crazy for whatever reason, no telling, but you're just supposed to assume a woman has some hysteria that's going to drive her so far to like kill somebody, and that is a weird trope.
But I don't think Lola. You don't see Lola's descent. She's just bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I think that like by the time we get to that time period in our in filmmaking or in some sort of like craft, we've left a layer of the hysterical woman trope behind, and this is a little. I don't want to say this is more acceptable, but it is. Like I think there's like
why are there so many people that like the loved ones because that movie is really a really hard watch, at least for me. Like I've only watched it once and I have no desire. And I like when I still was on Reddit horror, like our horror on Reddit, people were always saying what a good movie it is, and it would be in their top 5s and top 10s, and like it just don't like it.
I think for
factor.
Maybe.
I think that has something to do with it. I think that it also came. I think you have to like look at it in its time period too, because you're talking about more independent horror, like character. Yeah, right. So you're coming into the transition where viewers. I mean, look, as horror fans, we are always looking for independent stuff and like really interesting stuff. But at the same time, that time period got a new wave of people coming across that stuff first. So I think that a lot of people champion Loved Ones in a way because it is 3 characters, like
it's
four. Yeah.
Well, I think that what's funny though is that, and I mean, I'm not saying that this is a great movie at all, but it's funny to me that Loved Ones gets so much attention and praise, and an equally campy, weird, low budget film that I think is more entertaining to watch, like Excursion, doesn't get discussed nearly as much. And I think
I've never even heard of that.
Excision.
Excision. Oh, yeah. Excision's good.
Like Excision's so much more fun. It's got a much more likable character in your female lead, and it's got that camp factor of having like John Waters as a priest and like Mink Stoll popping up in a role. And
I think those are 2 very different films, though, man. Like I feel like.
Oh, I'm just saying, based on like
right.
Kyle's thing of saying like, well, maybe it's the love of like small indie, and I'm like, well, that's also a really small indie that I think, like, playing devil's advocate, that doesn't get the attention or love that I think it should be getting.
I think one thing that sets Loved Ones apart, and for the record, Scott, I'm with you. It's a hard watch, although I have watched it a few times. Is that I feel like it's the evolution of the final person, and it's one of those big like we cite that as a good way to flip the gender roles, and then kind of interesting like pin mark in the evolution of like feminism and horror, at least in my opinion, because it's still pretty rare to have just a straight up badass for no reason other than she's fucking badass villain. So. To me, I love that of it, and I think there's a lot of like psychological drama nuance to it that the writing is really good too. So,
and where do we put like the revenge movies? You know what I mean? Like I was thinking of like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left and stuff like that. Like
I don't think of them in this.
They're exploitation, and they're not. Yeah. I don't think they're slashers personally.
I mean, I think there's an argument to be made for it if you wanted to.
Especially like I think I Spit on Your Grave more than anything because it is a woman going out and killing the men who, rape.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on paper, you would have that would make some sense.
Tom, we're not talking about Giallo. Sorry, dude.
I love Giallo though.
You and Tom are going to be beef fries.
So I will say, side note, Brian was up here until literally he's driving back to Florida as we speak. But he'd never seen the original Suspiria, so we wanted to watch that last night. So we watched that together. My stance on Suspiria still remains the same. Very pretty, no plot.
That's why we don't talk Italian horror on HMA.
Yeah.
Wow, shots fired.
That's not news. Like,
it's a very
defending this since when we were on Reddit.
Brian, I wish that I was just recording Brian during the scene where her like friend / neighbor is investigating the sound up in the attic, and he's like, there's like a scene where she smashes through like 3 different windows, and he's like, "That's on you." Like she rolled through 3 different windows and then just jumps into a pile of razor wire, and he's like, "She didn't look down." Like she didn't look down and be like, "Oh, this is not the good spot to jump."
So there's a female slasher I can't believe we haven't spoken of yet, and that's Tiffany from the Chucky series. Like Jacki, you raised me to love her. I don't understand she's not on your list.
I haven't even given my list yet.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say we've been just fucking steamrolling.
Although she wasn't on my list. To be fair, she wasn't on my list. I tried to think like a little bit outside the box for my list because I mean, obviously, Scream 2 and Sleepaway Camp. The ones that popped into my head though was fucking what's her name? Mommy from People Under the Stairs is one of my favorites.
yes.
I love Mommy. Recently we did an episode on High Tension, and
I was actually going to ask you about High Tension.
yeah, I mean I have my issues with that movie, but in general I love that the villainous streak in her. I love like the whole insanity thing. Which, again, props to Marissa for helping me. Marissa always makes me expand my my horror knowledge and forces me to watch stuff that I usually will bitch about, but then I end up liking.
That's right.
Yeah. I had Jennifer's Body on my list. And then just for funsies, I put the real ending of Clue. All the ladies in Clue. Because technically Mrs. Peacock. Yeah.
I want to bring around one of the first movies we ever did on Horror Movie Night. I want to say it's episode like 6 or maybe like episode 10. It's the only time we talked about it was the first time we talked about an old black and white movie, and we talked about Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. But like that opens the whole door of all the Psycho Betty movies, which are like so fun. Like, Sunset Boulevard, not really a horror movie, but
you made me do that for Reddit Horror Club, and it was great. It was really good movie.
But like that, the Joan Crawford movies, like Straight Jacket, and like those weird William Castle movies where he was always throwing women in the mix to make them the killers. Like, we did. I don't know when the episode's ever coming out, but I did a William Castle episode of Jersey Ghouls a long time ago. And the more that I dive into his stuff, like he was kind of very progressive with a lot of the stuff that he did, even if it was very exploitative at the time. But like, I have to think that Straight Jacket's one of the first like female slasher movies.
This guy comes at us about recording times. He recorded like his Christmas special yesterday. I don't know who you're joking with.
I know. I'm just checking, and I'm like, every time a new episode downloads, I'm like, oh, this is the one. And
no,
like, oh.
truth be told,
exploitation.
your episode got lost a little bit.
I thought that may have been one.
But no, we did recover.
I found it.
Yeah, we did find the episode. So not next. It's like two. Like we've got one more upload, and then your upload. I've already got it edited, so it's
yes.
2 episodes away, but we did find it.
Don't give it.
What a night! We talked William Castle for an hour and then watched Tammy and the T-Rex. You can't get
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Oh my gosh, can we please have a hagsploitation night where we watch things like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and all those films? Because I love that Joshua called it that.
I mean, we do have to, if we're gonna build up in the hagsploitation genre, we do have to end with something starring Divine. It doesn't necessarily have to be Pink Flamingos. It can be Female Trouble or maybe Polyester, but we have to watch something where Divine goes on a killing spree at the end of a movie.
I thought you were going to say that you were going to end with The Granny 1995, because it is now on Amazon Prime.
Look at that smile on Scott's face.
Dude, do you remember when we did that episode? It was so hard for us to find.
We couldn't find it anywhere.
I had to find it, torrent it, send it to both. Was Adam?
No.
Was you and me?
I think it was just you and I. Maybe I can't remember. But
it was
the hardest one to find.
The Granny.
The Granny, 1995.
Okay.
Oh yeah, dude. Joshua's right. First Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Great female killer.
Great. Well, and again, someone brought up my quote unquote stupid ass poll, but let's talk about Jason too. Come on, Jason. Mostly when it's not Jason, it's the better Friday the 13th movie. That's Matt Kelly's hot take.
I agree. I have very little interest in Jason when he's Jason. If he's mom, if he's
Roy the paramedic,
if he's in space, I guess he's still Jason in space. Yeah. But any like iteration as far away from what we consider Jason as possible is probably more.
So Jason Goes to Hell is the best one.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I didn't say that.
That's what I said.
Whatever.
I've said it before, and I'm not sure if Jonathan London's still in the comments, but if he is, he'll back me up on this. Part 5, where it's just Roy the paramedic driver, one of my favorite ones.
And I think that's the only one I've never seen.
Oh,
I've literally seen all of them and cannot remember any of them, but I can remember scenes from each one. It's like the middle of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. The franchise. I can't remember what happens in 4, 5, and 6, or 4 and 5. Those are the two that fuck me up.
Master and Dream Child.
Master and Child, yeah. But then I can remember Freddy's dead.
And yes, Tom, I do like where our boy Miguel is sitting on a toilet because he just ate some enchiladas and he's singing "Ooh baby, ooh ooh baby."
And Matt got Tom. I don't know if you saw that, but when we went to Pop Rock and Horror last year, Miguel was there, and Matt got a fucking video of him singing it with him.
1 second, I think I still have it on my phone. I can't. Yep, I do.
And enchiladas. He is the best.
That was the second best thing that happened with Miguel at Pop Rock and Horror. The other one was when somebody got up in front of the bonfire on Saturday night, and Miguel's like, "So, Matt? What did he say about?"
So we were standing around the bonfire, and then someone yelled, "Attention, everybody!"
Yeah.
And he stopped and said, "Listen, you cannot have a giant group of white folks standing around a fire with only one black guy and yell attention, everybody." He's like, "I almost ran to my car."
Jackie, you wouldn't have remembered that even if you had half the amount of alcohol. I loved the live stream of Jackie just being like, it wasn't actually her face. It was just imagine this was a white cloth, just like
pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
She wandered that night.
I did wander. Marissa lost me a couple times. Keep in mind that I drink maybe 4 nights out of the year. So
yeah, no, that's why it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny because I would have been like, I drink maybe 4 nights out of a week now that we're in quarantine.
Oh, and Riss, your husband had the funniest non-horror person I knew comment of the night. He said, I don't know, one of the two of you didn't want to finish your drink. And he was like, "I'm just the garbage chute." And he just went like this and faced it. It was great.
Oh yeah, he 100%. That's every day in our lives. The other night, I got a Mother's Day delivery basket, and it was all these weird Bud Light seltzer and all these girly, and I would open one and be like, ugh, and I'd bring it, and he just drank them all like a little garbage can. It was amazing. That's why I keep him around.
I mean, obviously, we're all friends through the con world first, and then became friends in real life outside of it. It's worth noting that obviously quarantine has taken away a little bit of the con experience from us, and it's weird because the only thing I miss really is the after the convention's over hangouts.
Absolutely.
I don't really miss being stuck in a sweaty, smelly building for 9 hours.
I don't know, man. I'm really missing out on buying and selling shit I don't need.
But you know what? If you go on our website, you can buy some stuff, including some new goodies that you got there, Scott.
You want me to show?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh.
So these just showed up yesterday.
Is this an exclusive?
No.
What?
But I've been wanting to do this for a year.
At least 2 years.
Yeah, I've wanted to do this for a long time. So I started making these Nintendo, fake Nintendo horror boxes, or horror Nintendo game boxes. So we got Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp. See, I don't do well with mirrors, but they're cool because they're the same size, and I have one as an example. They're the same exact size and setup as an original. This Double Dragon is from '88 or whatever. They're the perfect size. They look I missed a couple things God damn it, I cannot do mirrored things. But I missed. You get the idea. But I did get I found some cool people to help me with the 8-bit art on the back, and I got to write the flavor text and stuff. And they're gonna go on my wall with all of my other Nintendo stuff. But yeah, I made a couple. I had a couple of these printed. I was going to print more to have them at our booth because we always have Nintendo to play at our booth. But obviously, since we're not doing a booth probably in 2020. They're just on Etsy right now. The HMN Etsy. I think it's like if you just look up HMN podcast Etsy, if you Google that, it comes up. But I want to do a. Thank you. They're all LJN because LJN did all of the shitty movie adaptations. And the best part is that I don't know if anybody can see this, but oh God, this is so hard. I made sure that all of them had a barcode, but they all start with 666.
Nice.
And then the year that the movie came out.
There
Oh,
you
hell
go.
yeah.
The shopping mall is 86. But yeah, I want to do. Yeah, exactly. I think nice. I love it. But yeah, I want to do a whole series. Like I want to do 4 at a time and get all of my favorite movies. I want to do like I actually have a long list. I want to do TCM2. I want to do Motel Hell. I was actually just talking to Rain because I posted a picture of those in on Instagram, and she was like, "Those are sweet." And I said, "I want to do another round where it's all accidental cannibalism." So TCM2, Motel Hell. What else? I need to have 4 because each set would be 4. I don't know. I have to think about it, but like it would be cool to do Ghoulies 2 and Prom Night 2. I probably want to do my favorite sequels. And then like have that be a set. I know Motel Hell's not that great. Really, the concept is better than the actual execution. And when Farmer Vincent looks like when he looks sick when he's got like the big.
Oh, he's got the pig head and the chainsaw. It's fucking dope.
Was that the first Monster Mania that we met the ghouls where those little girls, the little girl and her brother were dressed up as Farmer Vincent and the girl?
Yeah, that was either the first year or the second year. I think the first year was actually when we saw the Dr. Giggles cosplayer, and I lost my collective shit.
Oh, and speaking of Dr. Giggles, which sucks that he there is already a Gremlins 2 game, Tom. And if you want to hear my cover of that,
I
is
think
on my Bandcamp.
I think he just wants you to improve the box art for it.
Oh well, I mean, I can, but that game is hard as shit, by the way. Yeah,
It really is.
if you play Gremlins 2,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's insane.
I'm convinced there's no ending. Like
No,
it just
like I've played it one time on an emulator because the actual carts are way too expensive, and then but
That's hard
I've
as
watched
shit.
people do like I've watched people do like speed runs through it with help from like a computer or whatever, and it's impossible. It's a fucking impossible game, but it's
Never
just a reskinning of Smash TV. I mean, like they just reskinned or Fester's Quest or whatever. Like the funniest thing about all these games is that they.
Loved
Fester's
Fester's Quest.
That's a terrible game.
I
Talk
think
about
it's done.
terrible.
I have so much nostalgia
Thank you,
for
I love
it.
it.
Oh,
Me
Fester's
too.
Quest is a reskinning of Blaster Master.
I never.
That's
Oh,
all they
really?
did was they would take
Yeah.
the core. That's what LJN did was they would, or whoever, I think Sunsoft might have done. This is all stupid information that people don't care about. But,
Scott,
I had
we're
like a-
streaming on Geekscape's channels. I'm
Oh,
sure.
okay,
people
yes,
care.
that's perfect. But there was somebody at Pop Rock and Horror, I think it was. It was either Pop Rock and Horror or Creature Feature weekend. It might have been Creature. It was Creature Feature. Somebody came up to me and we were just rapping back and forth about Nintendo games, and they knew more. This dude knew more than I did, and off the top of his head, because like I know enough to be dangerous, but this guy was like, "Oh, this spread and this spread and this spread came from another game." I was like, "Oh my god." Crazy
Enough
castle.
to be dangerous. The only
Yeah.
time someone said that in relation to talking video games.
Yeah, Jim, hey Nat, highlight that shit. Jim's most recent.
I like that shit.
No, Jim. There we go. Fester with Sunsoft did it with a Blaster Master. See, they just reskinned it. They just changed the sprites in it, but they used the exact same game mechanics. Everything was the same.
Love it.
Yeah, and the Freddy game, which was LJN, is also the exact same skinning, I believe, as the Beetlejuice game. So that gets us back to horror.
No.
You did your 6 degrees of Beetlejuice for Brian.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Incredible.
Brian is so happy that that's
Well
not
done.
a thing anymore because he would. If Brian hates one thing, it's consistency. And,
All right.
and him being consistent for 50 episodes was just too much for him.
All right, so let's start to wrap it up. So I'm going to have each one of you pop up individually to do a little bit of a plugging. So in that case, Jacki, I think you should handle most of the Jersey Ghoul stuff so that Marissa can use her time for Dark Hills events. I think that's the best way to do it fairly.
Sure.
So, Jacki, tell us a little bit about Jersey Ghouls and where people can go and check it out.
So you can find us pretty much on most podcast apps. You can find us on social media. If you just search Jersey Ghouls on the internet, you're going to find us. You're going to find our website, which is where mostly everything is. Every now and then we do a blog post. Marissa will review an independent movie or we'll review a con or something like that. But for the most part, every other Sunday, our episodes are released. And then you can just hear Marissa and I, and usually with a guest. We love having our friends on. We love promoting the shit out of our friends and what they do in this community. So you can hear us wax on about horror. Like I said, we try to put a little bit of a feminist fangirl twist to everything we talk about, just to kind of put a different lens on horror, as it is a, pretty big sausage party. But we love our creeps. We love our sausage party, and we are happy to be invited to it. So yeah, every other Sunday, just search Jersey Ghouls and you will get a new episode from us.
Jesus, this is our sausage party? Good Lord.
This is our sausage party.
This is the least sausagey sausage party.
Oh, and bouncing off that, let's jump over to Marissa for Jersey Ghouls, but also the Dark Hills events.
That's right. And let's give a quick shout out to the real star of tonight's show, Thomas, who loves roasting Matt almost as much as I do.
Your new best friend.
I know, my new BFF. And yeah, definitely check us out at the Jersey Ghouls. We try to keep it light, but we also try to put a little academic twist on it. And Dark Hills events is my other passion project. Please make sure you check us out if you are interested in getting involved with remote actual experiences, whether online or in person. We have all kinds of cool events coming up. Our most still scheduled, not canceled one yet, is Halloween 2 in October, which I don't know why we chose to, but we just roll like that. So if you're interested, check us out at darkhillsevents.com. And thanks for having me on, guys. This is fun.
So, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween 2 as a movie, but if it's an interactive thing inside of a creepy ass hospital late at night like that,
that's our goal. Yeah.
That's a pretty good reason to do Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a can of red.
That was X-Ray. That was
I know, but it's the exact same look.
That's true. All right, Kyle, finally, you are the director of Survival of the Film Freaks, but anybody who's followed any of your stuff on social media, you've got a ton of music videos and other video projects that have been dropping. So
tell us about the new one. Tell us about the new one.
Yeah, I'm super excited about the new one that we just dropped. I guess the best way to find any of this stuff is go to my website, kylekuchta.com. It's Kuchta. I didn't put my name on here because I'm a dumb idiot. And you can find all my music essays online as well. But as far as music videos go, I released one for an artist who goes by the name Magana for a song called Jenny Don't Leave. And it is an homage to Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I live near some of the shooting locations from that movie. So we shot in the cemetery from the film. We replicated a bunch of shots and we made a little, less than 4-minute homage to a killer song. Magana's song's really incredible. I needed those Bandcamp days.
Can you share that video on the group for us? Because I've been meaning to, and I forgot.
Oh yeah.
And you had
absolutely.
Where was that? Was that just a couple pictures or something that you shared that were the side-by-sides of the original shots?
Yeah.
Can you share that too? Because it's super interesting to us.
I will. Thank you. I was really happy with how it came out. Jenny was super awesome to work with. Like I said, her song's incredible. And any of those free Bandcamp days that come up, I think it's the first Friday of June and July that all the proceeds go to the artists. Grab her track because it's really awesome and it's a good time to support artists. So had that music video. Survival of the Film Freaks is on Amazon Prime, so add it to your list if you need something to watch while you're stuck at home, or just generally. I like it. I've watched it a couple times.
We love
it. If you like cult cinema, Survival of the Film Freaks is it. Hopefully got another music video, sort of horror related, coming out maybe September or so. Really happy with that one too. And Don't Forget to Leave is a non-horror documentary, but a really important documentary that I'm in production in right now with my co-director, Bill. You can find that on Facebook, Don't Forget to Leave documentary. I won't give all the details about everything ever here because I've talked quite a bit. But thank you again for having me on. I love you guys.
Aw.
Hmm.
And Scott, you showed us the newest project in the Scott Evil / horror movie night store with all those boxes. They are available for sale. They're not just made for Scott's personal collection.
I mean, I'm keeping one of each, so I mean, I hope that you guys are okay with that. But yeah,
And we still have all the new shirts. We've got the Nick Cage shirt still up and available.
it's a couple
as well.
left, I think, right?
Yeah, we still have a decent amount. All the women's all the smalls are almost sold out,
Okay,
which
that's what it is.
we need to replenish at some point when the world's not on fire. And then also we have the Don't Get Her Wet Female Gremlin women's only shirt and the Survivor Girl women's only shirt. Money from that will go to a breast cancer awareness fund. And as I promised, anytime you watch the live stream, you get a sneak little peek at what we're going to be talking about on Thursday. It's fitting that Brian's not here because he's the one that made Scott and I suffer through Strangeland. Starring Dee Snider.
We got the episode out of it, but it was painful to watch. I mean, it was painful when I watched it in high school, and it was painful again when I watched it as an adult man.
Oh man. Incredible.
But that is the show. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be back next week with
Thanks, everybody.
the missing pieces of the Abeats Creeps. We'll be here with the Fright School
Yay.
guys. So come and check that out. We'll talk about camp horror, camp everything, but not like going to a camp. Like,
well,
like
I'm
drag
not
queens and
watching
musicals
then.
I can call you and just tell you about camp.
Yeah.